Today we're talking about Good Fortune, a 2025 fantasy comedy that somehow combines Aziz Ansari, Seth Rogen, Keanu Reeves, Kiki Palmer, and Sandra Oh in one of the strangest but oddly heartfelt movies of the year. And before you ask, yes, Keanu really is playing an angel, and no, it's not the kind of angel you're picturing. More like if your socially awkward lab partner got promoted to celestial being and now has to fix someone's life with the enthusiasm of a well-meaning substitute teacher. The movie has been floating around online for months thanks to its trailer blowing up, its extremely memeable scenes, and the internet having no idea whether Keanu's performance is genius, chaos, or both. Reactions have been loud, polarized, and sometimes hilariously emotional. And with the film finally out, the conversation is even louder, with people comparing it to Trading Places, Bruce Almighty, and It's a Wonderful Life, but filtered through the lens of modern hustle culture and tech bro capitalism. So today we're breaking down the film, what works, what falls apart, how audiences are reacting, and whether this actually marks a real comeback for studio comedies after years of the genre struggling to find itself. And yes, we're digging into the scenes everyone keeps quoting online, including the famous chicken nugget moment. Buckle in.
Have a chicken nugget.
The story centers on Ansari's character, a gig worker named David Khan, whose life is somewhere between burnout and resignation. He's basically the poster child for doing everything right but still getting nowhere. He juggles delivery jobs, side gigs, and constant financial stress. The kind of character the movie uses to reflect the modern economy in a way that feels relatable without sinking into cynicism. Enter Gabrielle, Keanu Reeves, an angel whose job is to help humans course correct, though he performs his duties with the energy of someone who skimmed the handbook 5 minutes before being sent on assignment. Gabrielle decides that the best way to help David is to switch his life with that of a tech investor, played by Seth Rogen. The investor, Ethan Bowers, is the type of guy who talks about disruption and impact, but can't remember the names of the people he works with. He's rich, comfortable, and protected from every problem David faces daily. When the switch happens, both men wake up in each other's lives, confused, horrified, and forced into a crash course on what it means to experience the world from a completely different perspective. David suddenly has wealth, access, and freedom, but discovers that abundance comes with its own hollowness. Ethan throws into the chaos of David's life, confronts the realities of struggle for the first time. Their stories run parallel, intersect, and sometimes collide through Gabrielle's clumsy attempts to keep the universe from unraveling. Throughout the film, the humor comes from the awkwardness of identity swapping and understanding what someone else deals with day to day. The emotional weight comes from the characters realizing that neither wealth nor struggle automatically makes someone good, bad, happy, or miserable. Both men uncover parts of themselves they didn't realize were missing, and the fantasy element becomes a way to explore empathy rather than just deliver slapstick comedy.
Is there any update on the huevos rancheros for Alex?
He has your life.
The online discussion about this movie has been wild. Reddit exploded when the trailer dropped, and the top comments were split between "I can't believe Keanu's doing this" and "I love it." And "Why does he sound like he's malfunctioning?" Keanu's performance has its own ecosystem of discourse. Some people call it wooden, but others argue that the slightly robotic quality is exactly what makes Gabrielle funny. It's the contrast of heavenly duty with the mannerisms of a man who's never been fully briefed on how humans interact. And that debate turned into a huge marketing boost because suddenly everyone wanted to know if the awkwardness was intentional or if it was one of those camp accidents that becomes iconic by sheer weirdness. Once the film was released, reactions diverged into 3 camps. Casual viewers found it funny, sweet, and upbeat, like it's exactly what they wanted from a modern fantasy comedy. They praised Keanu's gentle, oddly stiff angel portrayal and said it made the character distinct. Movie fans with a more analytical side were mixed. They enjoyed the heart and the commentary, but some felt the pacing lagged in the middle or that the emotional conclusions were delivered a little too neatly. For them, the film sits in a space between unique and predictable rather than a bold reinvention. Then you have the comedy fans who just missed seeing full studio comedies with big casts in theaters. For that crowd, Good Fortune feels like a breath of fresh air, something sincere and playful instead of self-referential or snarky. A lot of viewers called it the kind of movie that used to come out all the time in the 2000s, but has been rare in the last decade. Between the memes, the wholesome tone, and the star power, the movie has managed to become one of the more talked about comedies this year. even among people who don't normally care about this genre.
Yummy, 5 stars.
Nice!
They tipped you $1.15. Dicks.
Several scenes stand out as the heart of the movie, and they're a big part of why people keep talking about it. Gabriel's introduction sets the tone perfectly. He appears in David's apartment without warning, knocking over furniture, speaking with strange pauses, and giving what is possibly the least reassuring angel speech ever recorded on film. The comedy is awkward in a best possible way. The life swap moment is the film's biggest fantasy centerpiece. Instead of CGI overload, the movie uses practical effects and scene shifts to create a seamless transition. It feels smooth, giving the scene a timeless quality that bigger effects would have ruined. A fan favorite moment is the chicken nugget scene, which deserves its reputation. It's ridiculous, but it also shows Gabriel's innocence. David hands Gabrielle a single nugget, who's blown away by the taste, and the sincerity makes the moment unexpectedly touching. It captures the film's balance of silly and sweet. The final message, the emotional backbone of the movie, brings everything full circle. The film doesn't lecture, it simply shows that empathy grows when people step outside their own experience. It ties together the journey of both men without resorting to forced sentimentality.
I want to help you find jobs, but I also want to look at photos of baby elephants.
At the end of the day, Good Fortune isn't trying to be a groundbreaking satire or a philosophical masterpiece. It's aiming for something simpler, but harder to pull off. A comforting, funny, modern fairy tale with heart. And for the most part, it succeeds. The performances carry it, especially the dynamic between Rogen and Ansari, and Keanu's delightfully odd presence becomes the movie's secret weapon. The fantasy elements are creative without being overwhelming, and the emotional beats land because the film believes in sincerity more than spectacle. If you're looking for a warm, funny movie with a clear message and a big heart, this one absolutely fits the bill. It's not about reinventing comedy, it's about reminding audiences why this kind of story used to fill theaters in the first place. And in a time when comedies fight to stand out, Good Fortune wins by embracing kindness, weirdness, and a whole lot of charm.
This is too hard. How do people do this without just being miserable and angry?